Guys, good morning. It's August 30th, 2023, and I'm so excited because today we have a lot of fall items to show you. We have 2 fall patterns that are coming out, and then we have a sneak peek of Lori's stitch cards, which are also fall. And so excited. We're going to start out with the first thing, which is right in front of me. This is Autumn Days Ornaments. So we started last year with Ornaments, and we're continuing that series. And so this is Autumn Days Ornament, and there are 12 designs in this color booklet. I'll kind of flip and show you. Photos, really cute. And this is available as either paper or PDF for international. And I kind of wanted to show you how we finished these. So with the last set, all of the patriotic, they kept falling over. So what we did is we got these, they're called place card holders from Amazon. We just linked them in our shop, and basically you just tie, of course that's gonna happen on camera, you just put this little cord around it. You just snap it in. It has to have a little circle thingy. And it goes around. Sorry, I just got my nails done, so they're not gonna wanna go through. And then it just sits. So you could just find these anywhere, but they're little place card holders. It has to have this little circle thing that you can attach. And so basically, I'll show them to you. These were stitched by Denise, and it's the same thing as we did with the patriotic, where there are 4 with the green background, 4 with the teal background, and 4 with the red. And so since you can see these, next year, since we did fall this year, next year we'll be doing Halloween. And we did, we're working on designs for next year. And I'm just gonna show them all to you, and they'll look a little, you know, they're not gonna lay flat because of the little name card holders, but really cute. And these little holders right here are from, it's just a little stand from Hobby Lobby. The number is 207-6917. And of course you could always change the colors if you wanted to. And we list just Classic Colorworks and DMC in the pattern. So just to show you, and this is a really ingenious way to store these. So we're gonna add these to my patriotic ones. So there's the 12. There we go. Super cute. And Brittany designed these. So Denise stitched them. And again, the pattern is called Autumn Days, available as PDF or paper. We have a thread pack of the Classic Colorworks, and these were stitched on parchment 25 count by Lori Holt. And what I wanted to tell you is when Denise stitched hers, she stitched 2 strands at a time, so you can really see that variegation. That's how you're supposed to stitch, and that's how Cheryl stitches. When you see mine stitched, you'll see that mine probably, I haven't started them yet, but they probably won't have any variegation. We use the sticky circles, parchment, and of course the tart tins. And then the little bows we used is the Stitching with the Housewives 3/4 inch gingham ribbon, and it's a 5-yard spool. And again, the sticky circles, tart tins. Okay, so if you're gonna stitch just like this, if you're not going to use a hoop, you can use 1 package of parchment and cut them in 6-inch squares. Now, if you're going to use a hoop, you would need to cut them in bigger squares, probably like a 9-inch, so that the hoop could attach. So if you're using a hoop, I would recommend 2 packages. But what we did for mine is we just cut them in 6 because we want to be economical. And we used 2 packages of the sticky circles and 2 packages of the tart tin. And then when Denise did these, she ended up using 2 packages. So that's what you need to make these. Our stitch count is the same as we did on all the previous, so it's 28 by 28. And again, we use 25 count Lugana. The reason we use the 25 count is it's bigger and it really fits the tart tin. And I'm gonna stitch all 12 of these throughout September. This is kind of what I'm gonna take to football. And we started football last week. I do have some fun stories. If someone reminds me at the end of the live stream, I can tell some pretty funny Christopher stories because he is always so hilarious. So this is the first fall item. And again, if you have any questions on this, it's super easy. I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. And it just stands up. So Ashley has the link to these. They're super inexpensive, but we tried a couple just to see, and that's what we came up with. And we just bought some really inexpensive decorations from Hobby Lobby, Michael's, to decorate the tier tray. I still think eventually we'll find a tree that we can put these on. So cute. Can't wait to decorate mine. And again, we use parchment, but if you look at it, you know, if you have a different 25 count that's like a brown, you can use that. Don't feel like every time we come out with a pattern, you have to buy something new. I'm just showing you what we did and trying to be as economical as we can. Now, our second fall pattern is Happy Fall Simply Signs. So this is the fourth in our series, and it just makes a really gigantic sign. It's available as paper and PDF. This one we have DMC thread pack. So we just use DMC to make it economical because the fabric's pretty big and more expensive. So we use the Kimberly's Cafe au Lait 14 count. It's a big piece. You have to have 18 by 30. And then we have the DMC pack for five different colors. Priscilla finished this one for us. She's from Stitching with the Housewives. She used Pretty Plaids orange and white for here. This is a wall decor frame from Hobby Lobby, number 1394543. And then she decorated with leaves and a sunflower. And then we just left the top empty. And let's see, the first one in the series was a Be Mine, which was Valentine's Day. The second was Welcome, which was Aqua. The third one was Summertime. This is the fourth one, and we do have 2 more coming out. And they look great. I don't know if you've stored them in your house yet, but they're great because you can just put them on an easel, stand them up. They're really kind of a statement piece. And I'm not going to stitch this one just because of time limits, but I'm going to schedule this next year. Some of the Simply Signs. I have kind of hit a snag with time. Can't we all relate, right? And then Autumn, let's see, I'm going to answer a couple questions before we go on. How does 14 count look? So in the circles, the ornaments, it's just a little bit smaller. When am I going to put out a new Simply Stamps? I love the patriotic one. Well,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So it's actually in the corner. You want to give them a sneak peek? So it's actually in the corner. When I walked in the room, Denise was finishing it. So 2 weeks. Each of those ornaments takes about 2 hours to stitch for me. Okay, you do the table. That's your sneak peek. Sorry, I was a little fast. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the Autumn Stitching Seasons Reveal. This is the third in the Stitching with the Housewives 2023 Quarterly Cross Stitch Club. So the first 2 kits are sold out. This is the third in the series. This one is my piece. And so Priscilla finished this one for me. This is the bag it comes in. And here's what you get. So we have some kits left over. When they're gone, they will be gone forever. And right after this, I'm going to get to show you a little sneak peek of the very last one in this club. So that is your cute little enamel charm, your floss. And I stitched mine without, I just do the loop method. This is your Priscilla's plaids for the fabric here. You would need to buy the fabric for the back one. We did a custom cut of the thin white pine board, which I have really loved stitching on. I, as you guys know, love Ada, but I will tell you, stitching on this, I have really loved, and I might have to kind of convert over to a couple of 28 counts. I actually stitched this, you'll see a photo in a little bit, at a football game, and I was able to see it. You also get this, which is a great summary. It's got lots of details in here. If you want to reorder anything, everything's in here. But what's also great is on the back, this shows you all the finishing details for mine. But when you look at the pattern, all the finishing details for Priscilla and Chelsea's piece, which is, this is from Paisleys and Polka Dots. This information is on here. So when you get your club, just make sure you keep all the pieces of your papers, because that other insert has the information on my finishing. We wanted to show 2 different finishings each time. I've loved this series. It's I love the bags too. I'm gonna kind of show you the next one. So this one, Autumn, a few kits left. If you want the last one, you would sign up for the club. We'll probably close the club in a couple of weeks, and then that'll be the end of the club. So this one, I actually started at a football game. So I will show you a photo of that. Oh, sorry. We can show the other photo, Jordan. So the other photo is, that's Priscilla and Chelsea's piece. And so that is the piece that is on the ladder from Paisleys and Polka Dots. And then this one right here is from Hobby Lobby, and all the information's on that sheet. But this one right here, I'll show you a photo. I started it Friday night. So Friday night, that is the Lake Travis football game, and I did all of that sitting there. That was like second quarter, I think. And I didn't have a light, I didn't have anything, and I was able to do it. So that was pretty awesome. And then I realized when I started stitching that my black, I ran out of it on another project and took it out of my bag. So I was like, oh, I can't do the black. So then I was so worried when I went to the eye that I wasn't gonna be in the right spot, but I ended up doing the right spot. The game was good. And these are my 3 boys. So next to me, and I look horrible that night. I was tired. I took a nap and just showed up. I didn't even brush my hair. That's Will to the left of me. He is in 8th grade. Christopher is in 6th grade, and that is him in the middle. And then Peyton is Will's twin. He is also in 8th grade. We have had a great start to the school year. I can tell you I did not get a picture of Emma. She is on drill team. And when she came to the section where we are, like where we sit, so when she came to the section where we sit, there's a guy sitting over here, and his son was playing running back, and he was like all business. He was not about to move so that Emma could come in and take a photo with me, and I wasn't about to try to get past him. So I got some pictures of her with another mom, but she was like looking at me like, I am not going to try to go near him. He seemed super nice, but very intense. So I was like, oh, we'll have to figure it. So this Friday when I go to the game, I'll probably have to just kind of sneak out before she comes so I can actually get a photo, because that was just kind of awkward. But they won in the last 30 seconds, and I was texting my sons. I was like, hey, if they make a touchdown, let's go. So then they made a touchdown or field goal. I don't even know. I don't pay attention, to be honest. I have no idea what's going on. So we just ran and tried to get out of there. Because that's the only game that Kevin won't go to. And Kevin makes us stay till the very end of everything, to the very, 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 very end. And they knew that with me, we could get out of there. I was like, let's go, run. So that was fun. Okay. So the winter is going to ship in November. And any other questions you have on stitching with the stitching seasons with the housewives, let me know. I've loved this series. We do have some pictures of stitchers who have stitched it. This one is Dee Heitzer Fraser, and she made hers on a black fabric. And I can give you a little tease and say that behind the scenes, I and Denise and I and Cheryl have been working really hard, and we might have a little surprise for you guys coming from France at some point. The project started in May. We are now in August. That is how long it takes for anything to even ship. It hasn't even shipped from France. So we have a little something coming. The next picture is Pat Matthews, and she finished it, and it looks like she did hers exactly the same as pictured, and you can see the months. But if you go back to Dee's, the previous one, she took those months out and put pumpkins. And I'm assuming she took a pumpkin from the top. And then this one also, I love the finishing. This is Sasha Klein Shapiro, and she finished hers with the same exact fabric. Right here, the finishing fabrics, she just put it on a different bucket. So, and there will be a new club for housewives when this runs out. That's all I can tell you for now, because that's all I know for now. Okay, so now that we've shown a lot of fall, I'm going to actually finish and show the last fall item before we move on, just so that we can kind of start this off with fall. Stitch Card Set R is going to be coming out in September. So if you're in the club, this will come out in September. And I'm going to show them to you stitched up. These were stitched by Cheryl. We stitched these, or she stitched these on an oatmeal 25 count on the modeled side. I love these. So I'm going to stitch these in October for Stitchtober. So Stitchtober, I'm going to stitch 2 things. 3 things, Quilted Witch, Stitch Set Card R, and Stitchy Stars Fall, which are all Lori Holt. So September, I'm going to get busy and get a lot of stuff done. So we've got a scarecrow, a crow, a pumpkin, and a sunflower. And I did want to point out, this is red. It's showing purple on the screen, but it's definitely red. It's this red. So I think the camera's just having fun today. But I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch these in a row, and I'm going to stitch 2 or 3, basically just like this, 2 or 3 stitches apart, and then frame it. So that is our fall. So we are ready for fall. Quilted Witch we have shown you, and that will be starting also in Stitchtober. And with this one, if you're in the club, you will get the stitch card at the end of September. The thread packs will also be online this fall. Neither are in stock right now. We just wanted to give you a tease because we were showing so much fall. Okay, now I have something totally different. I'm so excited to show you. I'm going to put all of these out here and then talk about them, just so that you can kind of see them, and then we are going to do some zooming in. I believe these frames are all from IKEA, because that's what she used the last time. Okay, so Count Your Stitches is, her name is Caitlin, and Katie Nolan, and she has a collaboration with Sherry McConnell. Sherry McConnell is a quilt designer, and her newest collection that will be coming out in January is called Strawberry Lemonade. That is going to be our charity, and I can kind of show you. That's the same collection, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you this in a little bit, but this is going to be our take on the charity. So kind of that same colors, different fabric. I'll give you more details on that in a little bit. So she has a new montage quilt pattern, Coastal Summer, and Orange Peel. Those are all available. So she came out with a montage cross stitch, Coastal Summer cross stitch, and Orange Peel cross stitch. So I'm going to talk about each of them. The easiest, of course, is the Orange Peel. It's a 49 stitches by 49 stitches. So she stitched all of these on Antique White 28 count Lugana by Zweigart, all of them. Now, if you wanted to stitch this one on 14 count, that would definitely work. This one right here, I'm going to talk about in a little bit, will not work on 14 count. She used DMC floss that is listed in the pattern, and it finishes at 3.5 inches square. The chart is printed in color. So this is Orange Peel. So that's the easiest. The second easiest is Montage. This one has a stitch count of 125, by 125, also stitched on 28 count antique white, finishes at 9 inches square. This also used DMC floss, and this chart is stitched in color. So this one is also easy. This one is where we get advanced. So I'm going to move these two out of the way. Orange peel and montage, those are your easiest. I'm going to move those so that you can see the detail in this next one. So this one I would say is more advanced. It's stitched on 28 count, again, antique white Lugana. Can you go in a little bit more? Perfect. Okay, so this pattern, also in color, also in DMC, stitch count 126 by 126, finishes at 9 by 9. Again, would not stitch this on Aida. Okay, so the pattern has right here, that is like a 3/4 inch stitch or a 1/4 inch stitch. So this is like partial, 3/4. I'm just gonna say 3/4 and 1/4 because I know I'm gonna get them wrong, but there's some here on the flying geese, here on the edge of this, and the center. Can you zoom in a little bit more without it going crazy? There we go. So you can see there are some 1/4 and 3/4 inch stitches, and they're all right there. You know, you're going to see them also in here on the half square triangles, flying geese, even on this Ohio star. So this one I would definitely say is more advanced, and I'm going to give you a little, I'm going to show you a little piece of the pattern. She does give you detail on how to do that. So there is detail, but like what I wanted to show you here is on Aida, since there's not a hole in the center, you'll be poking a lot to try to get to that exact hole. So that's why I recommend the Lugana or linen or over 2. So these are Count Your Stitches, and she's a new pattern designer. She's in collaboration again with Sherry McConnell. These 3 patterns are available as paper and PDF at Fat Quarter Shop. I did want to answer Christy's question. She asked, when back stitching, do you skip stitches for straight lines? So it depends. And it kind of depends on what the author of the pattern does is what I do. I'm going to actually show you something I did that I think looks horrible. This one right here is just single. She just does 1 square at a time. So like this one, she went 1 square at a time, not from here to here, if that makes sense. Okay, so now that I've shown so many awesome upcoming things, so much fun stuff, I'm gonna show you my stitching progress. So my temperature cross stitch is coming together really nicely. And I've almost got August done. So July and August, you can see there have been no warm days here. It is hot as firecracker. I am like, my mom gets on, she gets annoyed with me because I'm always cold. I've always been cold. Let me tell you, this summer I haven't been cold one time. I drive all the way home. My drive home is 50 minutes. Full blast AC, max AC, and I'm still sweating. So my last 2 Augusts are over here somewhere, and then we'll go into September, and then hopefully we'll start getting some. I wanted pink, and now I'm like, oh, let's go away from pink. So this is a downloadable PDF pattern. This is our temperature quilt for 2023. We're working on our 2024 design. I can tell you that Jordan actually came up with it. So when you guys see it, you guys can thank Jordan. This is stitched on white 25 count Lugana. My next stitching actually is up to about probably 10 minutes before we started. So I wanted to show this to you. I always start my stackables at the bottom because that's the most work. So this is August Stackables. Here is the really nice one that Cheryl stitched. So these are both stitched on marbled white pine board 14 count by Fabric Flair. This is the soft white wooden paddle we sell, and the SKU for this grunge is listed on the back of the pattern. This one's 51 wide by 167 high, which comes out to 3 3/4 by 12 inches. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is If you're a member of the Stackables Club, you get the pattern 10 days before it's released. So this one is August. So August is now available for everyone. And I just kind of wanted to show you, this is Cheryl's. And you can see this variegation in hers. When I finish mine, you won't be able to see the variegation. But what I wanted to show you was a little tip on filling in. And the reason it's crumpled is I do this when I stitch. So I had about half of this done yesterday, and at about 5 o'clock last night I started stitching. So what I decided is to do the honeycomb, you fill it in. Guess what? Fill it in at football. This is all one color fill in at football. I'm gonna fill this in. I was trying to finish before I left, and then I'll do this, and then then basically I'm gonna try to finish it so that Denise has time to go ahead and fully finish it before next week. This is the only thing not done for August, so I have 1 day left. I did a big mad rush to get caught up, got a ton of stuff done, and then, oh my gosh, gotta start September. So this is kind of how I fill in at football, where I can half pay attention. I went back to Welcome to the North Pole and finished my train. So I had finished everything except the train. And just as a reminder, the train right here, there is a pattern edition that you get, a pattern change you get on the Primrose Cottage Stitchers website or Facebook group. So luckily I remembered to do that. I didn't love so much my back stitching. So this is an example where I did go on my back stitching full letter instead of stitch by stitch. And so this one's more stitch by stitch and this one's more all the way over. So I basically just put the pattern under my magnifier and replicate what the designer did. And then, so this is August. For September, I'm gonna do this row, October, November, December, and I think it's looking pretty good. Now, I am doing all of my back stitches as I go. I am leaving all of the buttons for the very end, and I am going to use some tips that Terry gave us last week from Shepherd's Bush on attaching the buttons. So if you have questions on attaching the buttons, you can check that out, or Cecile from Just Another Button Company has done videos for us on our quilting channel, also have tips there for attaching buttons. Barn Sweet Barn, we started at the beginning of 2023. First, I'm going to show you Cheryl's. So this is Cheryl's, and the information on her framing is right here on the pattern. We both stitched using the DMC floss pack, which is here. This one I'm going to frame. So I think our stitching looks about the same. It's DMC, so there's no variegation, except my stitching just looks darker, and that's just, I think I just stitched looser than she does. So it's always fun to look at them next to each other, but I'm gonna have mine framed. This is just stitched on 25 count Cloud Lugana, and we do have a video on this called Frame Cross Stitch in a Hoop, Barn Sweet Barn Finishing, and it's on this channel. So I got that done. I actually did this Saturday at a football game, and it was really neat. A lady came up to me. I was stitching in my little bag that I made, the hands-on design bag, and she came up to me and she was like, "Oh, did you make your bag? I love your bag." And she said, "Oh, I do embroidery." Well, I had stitched up here wrong, and I said, "Oh," I said, "Yeah, I just stitched this whole section wrong." And she was like, "Oh, you gotta frog it, rip it, rip it." So she totally knew cross stitch. So so I had to pull all that out, but I got started Saturday. I think I ended Saturday. I got this done in 1 day. I was on a roll. And then September weigh-in. I think I did this last week. Yeah, I think I did this one last week. Okay. So here's my September weigh-in. Now I will be mailing this to Priscilla today because her and Chelsea are waiting on me to send this. That way on their channel, they can film a video of finishing mine on this piece from Paisleys and Polka Dots. So thank you to Paisleys and Polka Dots for painting mine for me also, because yeah. Okay, so I don't love so much my scarecrow. Can you zoom in a little bit? I don't love my stitching. I feel like it's like excessive. Like it's just a little much, but I'm gonna leave it because I followed the pattern. So I am going to be stitching October next, and that is right here. I am stitching on the Monaco tea-dyed, and so here is my kit, and I'll show you the pattern if you guys haven't seen it. And if you watched their Saturday video, they did a sneak peek of November. Everyone seems to be very excited about November. So it's got treats, kitty cat, haunted house, ghosts, candy corn, and so here is my kit, and I will start this. I'm going to finish this by the end of September, and then I'm going to hopefully get the November is going to arrive at the end of September. I'm going to try to get that done before Stitchtober. So we will be mailing this, and I have loved working with Monaco. I love it. I will tell you that I am shocked how much I love it. Okay, about 2 days ago, I finished this. So I was on a roll. I hadn't even started this. I think I started this Sunday and finished it Monday. So Needleworker House is the 8th of the 9 charts in the Houses on Peppermint Lane series, designed by Pansy Patch Quilts, Lori Pagnelli. And I stitched that on Oatmeal 14 Count Lori Holt. I used my thread kit to follow. So there's a thread pack with all the thread conversions. So I have 8 of the 9 done. I have been getting all of these framed. When they're all framed and finished, I will do a trunk show of that. And just so you know, I've only got 1 left. But I can give you a tiny, tiny tease. I'm not going to give you all the details because I'm just not going to give you all the details. We had this pumpkin house needle minder made to go with Houses on Pumpkin Lane. And I'm going to give you a little tease. I don't want to give you too much. This is how we start. I'm not going to give you any of the colors. This is how we start. Okay, so the way we start is Denise puts everything in a bag. So she puts the thread, she puts this together with Brittany. So Brittany and her color it. They put notes like campfire and chili paper might have enough contrast. That's why we don't release the thread pack now, because we have things to test. So I'm going to kind of start stitching this, and then we're going to decide from there what I stitch. Now, this year, I might leave that off. I might leave this off. I haven't decided. That's what I mean, is like all of this is going to change. I am going to tell you we will do pillows, but I haven't decided how much of it I will stitch. We will do a video of whatever we do, but we're not releasing this until the end of fall because I need a second to breathe. I need a second to do this. It's going to take me a couple of days, but I got to fit it in on all my other stitching. And we might change some colors. So that's why it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of us behind the scenes to do this. Another tease I can give you, and these are just teases, so I'm not giving any details on thread or anything. Moonbeams Charity 2024. Every year, Fat Quarter Shop raises money for Make-A-Wish. We are basing the quilt on the Strawberry Lemonade collection by Sherry McConnell, which we showed earlier in the show with the trunk show by Count Your Stitches. I just kind of wanted to show you some behind the scenes. This is Jocelyn and her magic. This is how she prints it out, tapes it together, And this is what Kevin and I approve as a mock-up. So this is what it starts as. Now this is like probably the 5th or 6th iteration of it. And then from there, we get a prototype. This is a prototype, it's not the real one. We approve it because we want to see how it prints. How does the color print? Does it print accurately? Do we want anything darker or lighter? So this is a tease of what will be coming for 2024 for the charity. And this is also a tease of how Cheryl stitches. So what she does is she stitched, part 1 is the border. She brings it in, we take photos. She takes it home. She stitches part 2. She brings it in, we take photos. She stitches part 3, brings it in, takes photos. Then she does part 4. Same thing. So there's a whole process to this to get the photos we need, but this is something you can look forward to in 2024. More information on this and Houses on Pumpkin Lane will be coming later in the year. Now I get to show you Cheryl stitching. She has done a lot of stitching. Oh, and then we have a pop-up, I forgot. Moonbeams Enamel Needle Minder. This is going to be the needle minder. We've never done one like this, so I'm super excited. Okay, Halloween and Hawk Run Hollow is completely done. This is by Carriage House Samplings. She is taking this, I'm gonna move it up. She's taking it to the framer Thursday, and then she is going to, okay, so this she's going to take to the framer. We have given details on what she stitched on, everything in the past, but this is going to the framer. Now, what Cheryl did is on the 13th and the 31st of every month, she stitched this for the full day, or whatever she could fit in for those days. So since this one's done, I'm going to show you her replacement. So going to the framer, we are going to show it to you once it's back from the framer. She's going to replace it with Hello Halloween Sampler by Teresa Kogut. She's already started it, so she cheated already. And so, or maybe she already started on the 13th and the 31st. She's going to, we'll give you the details on what she's stitching on and all the fabric in the future. But this one is, I think she's probably using the called for, and she's definitely stitching with one strand. I can tell that. That much I can tell. So this one will be Hello Halloween, and I bet she'll get this one done pretty quick if she's already right here in the pattern. It's pretty big. Now I wanted to show you something else she finished and kind of talk about some of her fabric techniques. This is Santa with Arc from St. Nicholas 2 by Prairie Schooler. It's stitched on 20 count vintage country mocha, 1 strand of floss over 1 square. She did use called for DMC, and she's going to make this into an ornament. But what she wanted me to show you is when I'm showing you her pieces, I show you how she stitches on this big piece. So when she stitched this, it was in this big piece. The reason she does that is she hoops everything. So if she did this in a hoop, she would have had to cut a big, humongous piece for the hoop, and that would waste fabric. So what she wanted me to show you is she hoops it, she stitches it, and then she cuts exactly what she needs. That way she can be frugal with her fabric, which is hilarious because she has about 10 tubs of fabric, so she doesn't really need to be. So that's my joke of the day, because it's funny that she's frugal with her fabric because she has way more fabric than anybody I know. So really cute, and just that's a great tip. If you're gonna hoop and you want to save it, you basically hoop, stitch, cut later. This is her Glitter Village by Country Cottage Needleworks. So she finished part 5 and she started number 6. She's stitching on Desert Opalescent 32 count, 2 strands over 2. She is using the called for colors. She's using the fancy floss, but she's using B5200 rather than bamboo because she thinks it's whiter. And she's also using 738 rather than the gold metallic. So that would be kind of right here, this color right here, this light brown. She's using 738 DMC. And she has some new starts. So this is actually part of our what's new section. So she always stitches the Heart in Hand Wee Santa, always. And so this is Wee Santa 2023. It just came in stock in the last week. So she grabbed, and this is a perfect example of stitching on a big piece of cloth. She's gonna stitch it and then cut it out. And so that she saves. She's stitching on 32 count Lugana from her stash, the stash I just talked about. We should probably get her to take a photo of her stash. 2 strands over 2 squares using called for flosses, except she's using DMC Blanc rather than Snowball. And so that's just something that I think, you know, if you have a white that works, just use it. I think that's kind of what she does. And how long does she stitch on each piece before she switches to the next piece? She kind of just does whatever she loves. I can tell you this just came in. She probably saw it and was like, oh my God, I got to stitch it. She probably just she bought it, went straight home, pulled fabric from her stash, pulled floss from her stash, and just started stitching. So I do know on the Halloween, she does that on a certain day of the week, which is the 13th and the 31st. She does stitch all of the samples just as they come in. So obviously right now we don't have a sample to stitch because she's all caught up on Stackables. So she just stitches whatever floats her boat, I guess. Whatever she feels like. This one's really cute. I love the little quilt block pinwheel. Okay, now I'm going to show you what's new in the shop so you can start putting your questions in. This is Myrtle Chicken Club number 8. We shipped this out to our club members. The pattern is now available as paper and PDF to everyone else. This is designed by Lori Holt. Love, love, love this fabric she chose for finishing. And she just finished the next 2 also. So after Sarah gets those photographed, we will get to show you the next 2. Instead of, kind of, we've been debuting them one at a time, but we'll be able to show you 2. Also by Lori Holt. She worked on this for a long, long, long time. So cute. So this is the perfect bag for a football game. And I'm going to try not to forget my football stories. But it's one of our mesh bags, so you could stitch on it. And it has this gusset. I never know the word. And it will actually sit up. I'm not going to try it on camera. But so this is what I will be taking to the football game because it is see-through technically. Hopefully it works. So that's a new bag. It's called Big Hexy Project Bag. The new PDFs from Stitching with the Housewives are Scarecrow Festival number 4, which was released Friday. Sunflower Ride with bonus released today. The bonus is a little, it's home themed, I can tell you that. With obviously the same thread colors, but it has a theme of home. I'm going to show you some new patterns. Erin Elizabeth has 3 new designs. Watermelon Home, Fall Sweet Fall, and Watermelon Tear. New from Twin Peak Primitives, Twin Peak Santa 2023, and Twin Peak Snowman 2023. Country Cottage Needleworks Bike Shop is number 3 out of the 7 in the Beach Boardwalk series. Teresa Kogut has 4 new patterns. Fall from Grace, which is Adam and Eve. Dwelling Place. And Seaworthy. There's one stuck together. Sorry. Sewing Tomato Stitchy Bird. Sorry about that. And so these are booklets. They are in color. Show you the back. So those are Teresa Kogut. We have some new patterns from Pine Mountain Designs that are Jane Austen inspired, and they kind of coordinate with the Jane Austen collection that just released from Riley Blake. That's on our What's New page. So we've got Jane, Piano Forte, Netherfield, and Kimberly. So they're all sampler based. They all have a different font, and they're all designed by Sandra Workman. We are hoping to be able to borrow her samples when they're stitched to show them to you in person. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. And these, she suggests stitching on 32 count smoky white vintage Belfast linen by Zweigart, and she lists DMC. And the patterns are in color. Hands On Design has 5 new designs. Pick Your Pumpkin Patchwork, Blueberry, Cast a Spell, and we do sell this little display by 141 Designs, Autumn Calls, and A Classic Haunt. Speaking of Chantel 141, this is a new board. It goes with Pick Your Pumpkin pattern, and so obviously she paints it. Any information you want to know, she should have on her YouTube channel. And so now we have that in stock. We have 2, we actually sold out of some of the new Primrose Cottage. So I'm going to show you the 2 that we still have. We have reordered, but they did sell out pretty fast. This is Leaves of Autumn and Autumn Alphabet. And when the others come back in stock, we can add them. We have 2 new patterns from Lindy Stitches, Long-Eared Owl, and September Rainbow Bearded Thornbill. Also by Lindy Stitches, she came out with the Black Cat Seasons. There are a set of 6. We sell them individually and as a full set. So I'll show them to you so you can see them all together. Midnight Walker, Black Cat Singing, Blackest Cat, House Panther, Good Luck, and Black Cat Season. Heart in Hand has 2. We Santa 2023, which is what I showed you, Cheryl is stitching, and Harvest Frill. The Tiny Town sold out. We will show it when it comes back in stock. Hello from Liz Matthews has 5 new patterns. Sampler Tree, The Pumpkin House, 9th Day of Christmas, Homespun Hearts, and Boo. Heartstring Samplery has A Dog's Last Will and Testament. This is an older pattern that was requested, so we put it in stock. New from Aurifil is the Trick or Treat Aurifloss Thread Box by Susan Aki. changed their boxes than the way they used to be. So they're not as easy to use as they used to be. Well, actually, this will flip up, but it used to just be one piece, and then these are your colors on the back. Okay, so I'm going to answer questions. Tammy Dean asked, when you finish stitching, do you wash or clean your project before framing or finishing? I don't. I would refer you to probably maybe maybe Google that or put it in YouTube and see what comes up, just because I don't do that. I don't want to give you any incorrect ideas. What is included in the Stackable Club? That includes the pattern and the floss, not the fabric. What do you recommend for a beginner wanting to learn cross stitch? What I would recommend is watch our Cross Stitch University series on YouTube. But I would also, I'm kind of getting back into crochet, and I spent the weekend watching a jillion crochet videos, because why else? Because I'm trying to avoid all the work I have to do, all the quilts I need to make, all the everything. So I went to the yarn store and I bought yarn, but I don't have a pattern picked out anyway. But I'm kind of using it as an incentive. But I'm just been watching crochet videos. I clearly know how to do all the things. I'm just watching them. So I would say if you're getting back into cross stitch, just watch a couple people's videos. Watch like 100 videos, like I did with crochet. And just watch videos and kind of pick something small that's doable. Pick something that you will likely finish, and just don't pick anything too gigantic so you can actually finish it. Stitch Quarterly, the one that Summer Cottage was summer. Do you have a sneak peek of fall? Yes, I do. That's your sneak peek. Did Cheryl have any comments on stitching on the opalescent fabric? No, she totally thinks she found that fabric. She loves it. She stitches on like 40 count linen. So that opalescent is even weave, I believe. So she has no complaints or anything. Like, that's easy peasy to her. Me, different story. Okay, we have a question on what was the fabric for the chicken. Okay, so on the back of Myrtle, the fabric here is barley 25 count. This right here is Prairie Fabrics Q12315-Basil. This is Jazzberry Jam large vintage trim, and this is a frame from Amazon. And the way she mounts it is she just opens the back. This is her handwriting. Her handwriting is so perfect. So basically on the back, she just cuts a piece of fabric, she adds a small piece of batting, and she just stuffs it in there and then glues this on top. Cheryl Cordova, I'm a new cross stitcher and wondered if Aida and linen are interchangeable. Yes, I would start with Aida as a new. Am I going to get the proper stitchers patterns? Yes, absolutely. We have them on order. We have gotten like 20 cajillion emails, calls to customer service, comments on Facebook, comments. Yes, we have them all on order. We're getting so many comments. So do you know when they're shipping?
This week.
This week. So hopefully we ordered enough. Will there be, Ilsa asks, hi, will there be any more spookography or quiltography series? No, we don't have any more in that series. Oh, thank you to the super chat from Valerie Bauer. She says, I'm amazing. Oh, Piggy, I'm going to tell a little Piggy story, and I'll tell a little football story. So Piggy had surgery last week. He had a little mass, so they sent it off to make sure it's not cancer, but they cut him like this big to take it out. Poor thing. So he hasn't been able to go to daycare, and he was high as a kite for like a week because he was on pain medicine and gabapentin. Oh my gosh. But now my dog is back to normal. I'm so excited. Hopefully it's not cancer. I don't think it is. He's only 6 or 7. I don't think it would be, but we had to get that taken out. The only concern is they said once he gets that, it might just keep growing. Like it might just spread to other parts of his body, but hopefully not. And of course I canceled my dog insurance because he had no issues. And then Then I get the vet bill, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have canceled that dog insurance. Okay, so I'll tell a funny question regarding business. What would be one tip you have for somebody wanting to open a needlepoint shop? I would say do what you love. Be inspired by what you love, buy what you love, and work your business around that. That way you create a business that is things that you're inspired by and want to stitch. So for football stories, last week, oh my gosh, I was a mess on Friday. So I took a nap. I was so tired. I woke up late, of course, to get my boys from their band. So then I went to get them, and Will was supposed to work the concession stand. Well, we got there too late, and I had emailed them to say he might not get there on time because he has this band party, but his concession stand work is for Honor Society. So we got there too late. But anyway, we got there so late I had to park really far. So I let my kids out and I was like, y'all just go. Here's your tickets. I'll meet you there. I get there. The lady's like, I'm not letting them in without a parent. I'm like, they're teenagers. What's the deal? Anyway, so he was super late. He didn't get to do that. That's fine. He'll do it next week. But we went to football, and that was Friday night. And then Saturday, Christopher started football. It was like a scrimmage. And I told you guys about how, like, I don't know, our team did something they weren't supposed to, or our league or whatever. So I go, Kevin's not there. It's on this huge field. I don't know where to sit. You had to sit outside the chain link fence of this field. So I'm sitting literally like in the grass, leaned back in a chair because I got to stitch. There's a car behind me. I'm hoping I'm not going to fall on it. Anyway, Christopher plays. He plays offense and defense, and I'm like, what are they doing? Like, why is he playing both? I was so confused because I was like, I can't even figure out what's going on. But the whole game, these people from another team were totally dogging on our coaches, like how horrible the parents were and da-da-da-da. And I was just like, oh my gosh, people. I don't know any of these people, but these are kids. Like, don't just let them play. Anyway, so then we have to move to another field. So I get up, move my little chair, walk a mile. And they're like, you can't sit anywhere around. You can't sit on the sidelines. So I'm like sitting behind this chain link fence, again, lean back, stitching. At the end of the game, this is somewhere I don't know where we're at. I mean, obviously I do. Christopher has no idea where we're at. He has no idea where I've parked. He has no idea where he's going. At the end of the game, I'm at the end of this field. I have parked way over here. I'm over here. Christopher's in the middle of the field. He just finishes the game and just runs. Well, the lady was like, you can't come in. It's only for players, whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go real fast. So I did. I went real fast, and I started chasing Christopher because he doesn't know where he's going. I don't know where he's going to end up. I have his cell phone. I don't know where this kid is going. Like, this is like a huge place. Like, I could easily lose him. And, you know, I'm not really in shape. So I'm like running. I get all the way past the field. I mean, this is a whole football field. Like 6 fields on this field. I get out. He's just in the parking lot. I'm like screaming, Christopher. He's like, oh. I'm like, where are you going? I don't know. I'm like, you're going to kill me. I'm going to have a heart attack. Your dad is not here. I don't know where you're going. Where are you going? He's like, I don't know. I just figured I'd find your car. I'm like, and then I had to park on some curb. I don't even know. And they were just like, we're going to start towing cars. I'm like, there's nowhere to park. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just so glad Kevin's back home. Oh, and then I had another incident that nobody here at work knows, and I'll just tell it. It's really bad. So Friday, go to the football game. I'm just going to tell you, I don't really like having to call 911, and I've had to call it a couple times, too many times the last year or two. So I get home, and of course, I put my pajamas on. And I had told the boys, you know, I want y'all to sleep in the room because Dad's not here, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to figure out where Emma is going to go after the game because, you know, she goes to Whataburger or wherever. I mean, I take my makeup off. I already look like a mess. You saw it in the photo. Fire alarms start going off in the house. And I don't mean beep, beep. I mean for real going off. So I said, okay, we got to figure this out. Kevin's not here. So I sent my boys upstairs and said, figure out what fire alarm is going off. And then I left Christopher downstairs and I said, figure out what fire alarm is going off. I need to change the batteries. So I go to the garage. with this huge ladder. I get this huge ladder, bring it in the house. Peyton's the one that's the tallest, and he's the most like willing to like kill bugs and help me when Kevin's gone. So I'm like, Peyton, you got to get on this ladder and get this this thing off the wall so I can change the battery. And he's like, I'm not getting on that. I'm scared of heights. I'm scared of ladders. I'm like, you're scared of ladders. So I get up there. As soon as I get to the top, it says carbon monoxide detected. I'm like, oh my God, everybody run out the house. So we run out the house. I'm like, get the dog. I don't know what to do. I'm an idiot. I'm like, do I call 911? Do I call 311? I don't know. I don't know who to call. The people who live in my neighborhood were still at the football game because they stayed to the end. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So I call, there's like a security guard that drives around our neighborhood. So I call him. And he's like, okay, just go outside the house. I'm like, okay, I'm outside the house. And I'm like, well, where do I call? He's like, 911. I'm like, okay, not 311? And he's like, no, call 911, ask for fire. So I'm texting Emma, don't come home. I don't know what's going on. Stay with your friend because they live down the street. You like, just stay over there so I don't have to. So I call, the guard comes. I mean, I'm in my pajamas. I look like a mess. I had to have Christopher take Piggy to the side so that he wouldn't start barking. And Piggy was actually really good. Had that. None of us have shoes on. So the fire department comes, you know, with all their sirens and everything. And I'm just sitting out here. It was like 11:30 at night. I have on my pajamas. And so I explain it. And they said, okay. So they go through the house. They clear it. They have all their detectors. And then they said, ma'am, the batteries are out in the one upstairs. We need a 9-volt battery. I'm like, okay, Peyton, go find the batteries. There's no 9-volt battery in the house. So I'm like, okay, I can go to the store. I'm so embarrassed. I'm in my pajamas. I'm talking like 6 fire people in my house. The guard from the neighborhood, my kids, we look like a hot mess. One of them was like getting ready to take a shower. I don't even know what he had on. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I can drive to the store. I mean, I don't know any of my neighbors because my neighbor moved. And at the time, like, I'm texting Kevin, you know, I don't know what's going on. I'm freaking out, of course, because I'm like, I don't know who to call. Anyway, it was just the batteries. We had no 9-volt batteries. So Kevin came back, and I was like, Kevin, can you just make sure that we have 9-volt batteries? But there was no way I was going to be able to fix that. So anyway, that was my fun Friday night that I haven't even told anybody. But I told Kevin, I was like, every time you leave, somebody has to call 911. And I told the guard, I was like, every time my husband leaves. And he was like, oh, yeah. This happens to a lot of people in the neighborhood. When their husbands leave, this happens. And I was like, well, he's not leaving anymore. Anyway, that's my story for the week. I will see you guys next week. And, oh, we're going to have a giveaway. Autumn Days Ornaments. Why don't you guys comment and let me know what is your favorite ornament that you've ever stitched? You know, what designer, what pattern, that kind of thing. And we will pick 3 winners. And you can win either paper or PDF, whatever your preference is. And have a great week. I will see you guys next week.